Hi there, this is the Elm Street Fanatic 1428 here to do another video. And in this video, we're going to be doing a comparison video. Basically doing a video showing off the similarities between two horror classics, if you ask me, two underrated sequels, and one obviously is a part of a fantastic film franchise, and none other than A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. And the other film was in Amityville 2, The Possession, which is obviously the one from the terrible franchise. I really am not a Amityville franchise fans. Amityville 2 and the remake are the only Amityville films that I really enjoy. Outside of those two films, I am not a fan of this franchise. I think most of them are awful. But this film also shares a link with Elm Street 2. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2's first link to Amityville 2 is Jesse Walsh. Jesse Walsh is a very likable lead. There's definitely an plenty of odd character traits to Jesse Walsh. Jesse Walsh obviously has, it's one of the major wonders in the intelligence behind Elm Street 2 in general. Elm Street 2 is a very intelligent film. I think it needs to be regarded as an intelligent film because it is. But that's just my opinion. And I know most people will consider Elm Street 2 a terrible sequel, but I find it amazing. I love it. But other than that, Jesse Walsh is an odd fella. Jesse Walsh, you know, he's obviously carries some era of repressed homosexuality in the film. He barely touches his sister. Well, not sister. He barely even touches his girlfriend. That's very bad of me to mention that. But he barely touches his girlfriend. There's some serious intimacy issues with him and his girl. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just that obviously she is not his type. Obviously it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's obviously very abundantly clear that Jesse shoots for the same playing field, and Jesse Walsh obviously is a little bit uptight, but he's an unlikable fella. Amityville 2's Possession, The Possession, its link is Sunny. Now, Sunny is of a different sort. Sunny's a little bit of our first introduction to the character of Sunny is to be honest, a rebellious kid. Well, it's more of like the rebelliousness of this character is usually when we first get introduced to the character. Actually, the character is the character he says you're basically most of the rebellious natures shared upon by his father in the film. It's not really emoted from Sonny himself, because he says his father says you were late and you grown a little fuzz over your head smoking cigarettes. Well, Sonny is a little bit more he doesn't have he's still an intriguing character to watch. He's still the main focal point of Amityville 2, but Sonny doesn't have as much of a layers that Jesse has, but they still have a lot of similarities, and we're gonna get into those. Now we're gonna get into the details of the plot. Both Sonny and Jesse move into a new residence. For Jesse, it's the Elm Street house, the former residence of Nancy Thompson, respectively, and Marge Thompson, also her mother. It's the 1428 household is basically with Elm Street's case, Jesse's family dynamic is a little dysfunctional. It's a little dysfunctional. It's not bad. It's definitely not a unhealthy environment that Jesse is under. It's not an unhealthy environment. Jesse's pretty much it's very dysfunctional. It's not average, but it's not a dysfunctional household. It's the father figure. The father figure is a little bit more. He's a stern and steady father figure. The mother is pretty happy. Pretty happy with her life. His sister's pretty doing well. There's a little bit of Sonny syndrome in there when Jesse puts his hands on his sleeping sister, which we'll get explored when we talk about the Amity place. But other than that, it's a pretty decent household. It doesn't feel hostile. It feels like the son discovers that the household was had a pretty nasty history of being the place where Marge committed suicide, and all the events of the original Nightmare on Elm Street happened. And further installments has been, but we're Elm Street 2 logic. Elm Street 2 logic is not that it's not the former residence of Freddy Krueger as well, but in further installments has been retconned. That is Freddy's place. But other than that, everything's okay there. Now the Amityville 2, the Possessions case, is also both, and it's one thing that, both these films have in common, because I believe that both of these films have a lot in common. But with Elm Street, with Amityville 2, the possession I meant, this case, Sonny doesn't seem like he has a happy family unit. Jesse's family unit is dysfunctional, but it's not a completely hostile environment. Whereas whereas um, Sonny and his family is a completely hostile environment. Hostile environment. Um, the father is a drunk. The the mother gets abused, and it's just not a happy environment. The two kids that they have are dealing with a lot, and ultimately, what links Jesse to Sonny, and what ultimately links both these films together, is that they're both about these two these two boys who move into a new residence that has a terrible history. Well, actually, Amityville 2 is actually the history of the film, the history being revealed, happening before the. It's a prequel. It's basically a prequel, and it's basically a film setting up the events for the, like 7 or 8 god awful sequels. It takes obviously it takes place before the original Amityville story wise, but by technicality, that's a sequel. That's not the original. That's a sequel, and basically Amityville 2 is setting up the whole entire basis of the story that will take place for like 7 or 8 god awful sequels, including the original. I hate the original, but Amityville 2 is a fantastic film. I really enjoy it, but it's basically it actually came out before Elm Street 2. Came out in like 82, I believe, the early 80s. Elm Street 2 came out in the mid 80s. But yeah, but yeah. Now, I love both of these films. I think both films are really good in their own right. I know I'm bad at this the little similarities thing, but you know me, I am just a fanatic of not only the Elm Street franchise, which that's the basis of this channel, is just to honor all 9 of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, but I also love other horror films, and Amityville 2, The Possession, although I didn't do a good job at it, admittedly so. If you watch both these films back to back, I think that you will have a pretty interesting experience, and I think that you will see a lot of similarities as I have. Anyways, I which one do I like more? Well, it's hard. It's hard because you know me. Um, I think both have certain aspects that are superior. Obviously, since I am more of an Elm Street guy, than I am an Amityville guy, obviously I'm gonna be a little bit biased to Elm Street 2, but I still think Amityville 2: The Possession is a fantastic film, and I gladly will watch these films any day of the week, because I think both are amazing films, and I think both are highly underrated, and I think both are definitely worth a watch. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to the Elm Street Fanatic 1428, and we will be back for more Elm Street content, and that's where we'll leave it at. Bye.